Today's talk is yoga therapy and how to deal with your emotions, how yoga can help you get through those times that you think you can't get through. And what is the secret here? What is the meaning of yoga? Connection, connection, connection with your higher self. And again, this has to be constantly repeated in your mind over and over and over and over. Otherwise you get trapped in the emotions of life. Because as human beings, we go through emotions. Good times, bad times, ups, downs. We go through a myriad of emotions, and that will never change till the day you die. So how does yoga therapy help? How does this knowledge help? It helps because the knowledge starts from the root that you are not this body and you are not this mind. It starts from the cause. You see, we can always put plasters on our emotions or cover them up. Oh, I'm doing well today and I'm fine. And yes, I know the science and I can do it. But these are plasters, right? And to really get into the deep cleansing of emotion, you have to touch your spirit. You have to connect with the divine. Now, what is the higher spirit? Consciousness. And again, you can give it names: God, Jesus, Muhammad, Krishna, Gurudev. It doesn't matter, because sometimes the human mind cannot grasp the enormity that is spirit, that is consciousness. We can't, because our minds are in this little body. So that's why we use gurus or we use teachers, because we need a teacher. What does the word guru mean? Remover of darkness. It doesn't have to be a person. Some people get realization just from reading a sentence, and they go, or some people just get it. Yesterday I was counseling a young person who was suffering from panic attacks, very young, 16. In 15 minutes he got it. I was so amazed. How did he get it? What I teach for years in 15 minutes. And I said, do you understand me? And he said to me, I absolutely understand you. I said, the reason for your panic and your anxiousness and these emotions is because you think you are those emotions. But what if I tell you very simply, your emotions come from your thoughts, okay? Now look at your thoughts. Where are your thoughts? What are you fearing? What is happening in your life? What is the conversation in your mind? You have to understand what thoughts are going through that mind. The thoughts will create the emotion. So for example, now we're going through crazy times, you will all agree, right? Some people panic, we're going to get sick, keep the mask all the time. And other people, don't be so ridiculous. Is there anything right or wrong about it? No. People are caught up by their thoughts. They really believe this. This is an emotion. And emotion without control creates pain. It creates pain. If you cannot control a fearful emotion, it will have pain. And I'm going to try and not use the word control. You're going to try and be aware. Okay? This is how you start. By being aware and awake. Not to somebody else's story or their emotion. We always start by looking at somebody else's story and emotion and bringing it to ourselves. No. The moment their story comes to you, ask, what do I have to learn from this? What do I have to learn from this? And go within, and find out what it is about them that pushes your buttons, okay? Because you don't have to allow it. And this is what I loved about the yoga science. When I first studied it, I was one of these people. Everybody pushed my buttons. My husband would make a silly joke, something so stupid like, Oh, she burped so loud last night, and I was like 28 years old. I would die, you know. And I'd go home and argue with him. How dare you say this in public? This is so embarrassing for me. See, now, Les said last night, oh, you did a burp, and I laughed. Yes, you know, I'm a human. Do you see, we stop being so sensitive. It's such silly things that I noticed in myself when I started doing this practice. It's all these silly things create such huge emotions, create a huge battle, and who suffers in the end? I do. I do, because then you go to bed, you've argued with somebody, then the argument doesn't start with that silly burp. It goes on to, oh, but you did this and you did this, and you bring all the past in. Hallelujah. These emotions have created war zone in whose mind? And this was so precious to me. In my mind. It did it to me. Huh? Who did it to me? I allowed it. Why? Big ego. Don't you dare say I can do this in front of people. It's very important what I look in front of people. Don't you dare. Big ego. So thank God my husband taught me, don't hold on to that. And what else? Ego brings pride. And pride comes before a fall. And so when I started to look within, and this is what I'm going to ask you all to do when you have these emotions, don't judge them. Really don't judge them. They're there for us to learn, to get to the highest spiritual point while we're alive. These emotions are just our journey to like, this is off and this I'm off. It's like just going, you know, like Moses parted the Red Sea. This science, this energy, this spirit, when we're in connection with it, helps us to part the Red Sea of thoughts and to focus on what is really important. What is really important in your life? How do you want to live in your life? I learned very quickly, and this is what I keep telling all of you all the time, that I want peace. I know there's going to be miserable times, and I've had them. I know there are going to be painful times, and I've had them. Not only me, every single person I know has had them. But how do I want to live my life? And how would I like to see everybody live their life? Peacefully, amidst all these problems. And we can do it when we touch the core of our being. And again, Master Shivananda, all of you will know this. What does he tell us to chant? I'm not this body. I'm not this mind. Immortal self I am. It's the reminder when we get caught in what Og Mandino said, don't get caught in the small stuff. We get caught in the small stuff because we personalize everything. Everything anybody says is directed towards us. And this is why yoga tells us to be selfless. What does that mean? Don't be so self-focused. Because when you just think, how can you do this to me? These are the emotions. How can this happen? Why is this happening? To me, ultimately. Ultimately. Because if you don't take it personally, you won't have those dramatic emotions. You may not like what is going on, but you won't dive into it. See, if you're very emotional, you cannot detach. So one of the great tenets of the sutras, or of the study, is non-attachment. Whoa. But please understand very, very clearly, all of you, non-attachment does not mean you don't love. Please understand that. Non-attachment means you are willing to let go that selfish need for you to see things go the way you want them to. Because it's a selfish need. Whatever is wrong or right, it's still your need to see it go the way you want it to. And we should all know life doesn't life doesn't. And the more you want somebody to be the way that you think is best for them, it may be best for them, but the more you want them to be like that, the more they'll resist it. The only way to move forward is let them. If you love her, let her go. Do you know that song? Let it go. When you hold on, they keep resisting. And this is the non-attachment. But non-attachment with anger and with fear is another emotion, so it doesn't work. So let's say somebody wants to hold on to you and you're feeling this compassion for them and this love, and you want to help them, but they don't. The more you want to help them, the more they resist you. So what do you have to do? You have to walk away without being angry with them for not listening. You got it? You have to love them unconditionally. How do you do that? Not easy. Okay? Does not happen overnight. So all these people, you can be healed from your mind stuff overnight. You can be, but you're the only one who can do it. Nobody can do it for you. It will keep coming back again till you get it at its root and cut it. And the only way you can get it at its root and cut it is to know that everybody is divine and they have been chosen to be the monster in your life to take you to a place of non-attachment. Because in the end, all of us have to leave our bodies. All of us. There is no exception. So the science, the Holy Spirit, as they call it, or the Kundalini energy that rises in you, is telling you, come on, move forward. You're getting stuck in the same old story. So, I always say, God calls. You don't answer. He knocks. You don't answer. Breaks down the door. You have no choice. You have no choice. And this is what happens to most of us when we get carried away in our emotions. You see, it's very easy when we talk about in yoga to give up things. You can give up things. It's very easy to do. What is more difficult to do is let go of those emotions that come up, the fear, the possessiveness, this is mine, the jealousies, even the very good emotions. When you are very, very happy, what happens? Oh, I hope this lasts forever. Oh, nothing lasts forever. You don't. So again, getting back to the truth constantly. Nothing lasts forever. I have this now. Maybe in a second it's all going to be gone. We don't know. This I have to face now. How do I want to face it now? Sometimes you need a lot of strength to face it. Sometimes you need to walk away to face it. This is what we call discriminative discernment. The ability to know when to walk away and when to stay. And this takes years of working on yourself. Getting in touch with the higher self, which is neutral. It is neutral. And like I said to that young boy yesterday, who I thought was brilliant and could understand me in 5 minutes. I think young people are really clever these days, right? I said, you know how you can get over your anxiety? Just look. No, you are not your thoughts. So you see the demon, you see the angel, correct? I asked him, and he said, yes, easily. So you can see it. Can you change it? Yeah, you could with the computer, brilliant. So if something goes wrong with the computer, can you fix it? Yes. So something's gone wrong with the computer in here. Can you fix it? Yeah, makes sense. I can. Okay, so this is what you do. I tell them, no problem. So you start tomorrow morning. I want you to contemplate. I want you to think, since we can't find the cause of it, maybe it's so deep-rooted we can't find the cause, you have to find the cause and come back to me. But you will not find the cause, I said, till you sit down and reflect on your feelings, your emotion. What emotions? Could it have been the trauma of your grandmother, who you love very much and died during COVID? Never thought of it. Could be. Contemplate. See what is bringing this up. And last week, a young person as well. The young people are suffering a lot because their future is at stake. They're so prepared to go to universities. All these university students, so excited. The future, their dreams, their hopes. And now they don't know where they're going. They don't know what the future is going to bring. So you can imagine why they're anxious. It's so normal. So what do? We just have to teach them to live the moment and tell them, what can you do online? Study. What would you like to do? Have you always wanted to study this subject? Okay, you're not in university. What can you do at home? Can you go into woodwork? Do you paint? Do you love music? Did you always want to learn to play the guitar? Do that in your spare time, because they're not having the communication with young people. Their minds are so agile. This is the age where all the learning comes through. And they're stuck. So they need to be productive. They have energy. They need to keep their hours busy. It's not like me, okay, I'm old, I can, relax now. I have no desire to study anything. But they're young. They need that energy. They need to use energy. They need to feel useful. In fact, all of us need to feel useful in our lives. All of us. And it doesn't matter what age you are. And that's another thing, when we don't feel useful, when we don't feel we're using ourselves the way we are meant to live as spiritual beings, there's a sadness that comes up in us. All of us know that. Everybody feels, if you don't feel you're living your mission, there is a voice in your soul. And you go, how do I know? Sit with yourself. Study your emotions. Watch when you are mindful. What's the first thought that comes up? Is it fear? Can I do anything about the fear? Yes, you can. Be more fearful that you are not enjoying today, because today will be gone. If you really want to have a fear, be fearful that you're not making the most use of your life. It's precious. None of us know how long we have. So think. So how do you deal with this? By getting up in the morning first thing, and this has to be a practice. This really has to be a practice, because if you don't practice it, it does not work. And it has to be relentless with any emotion. You have to be tough on yourself. So you get up in the morning and you spend some time alone. Watch. Be aware. What are those thoughts that surround you? What are you thinking? Where's the mind going constantly? Bring it back. So one of the practices that is really powerful is very simple. We call it a mantra. What does the word mantra mean? That which liberates the mind, and frees it. So how does this practice work? This is, for the yogi, this is the most amazing practice. Okay, here I'll just show you what we call a mala bead. It has 108 beads on it, right? So you have seen in many traditions, the Catholic tradition, they have a rosary. So if you have a rosary, please use that. It's also charged. In the Greek tradition, they have it. In the Buddhist tradition, they have it. So this part here is called the Meru, which means the mountain. And you start repeating a mantra, a sound. There are many, many different types of mantras. There are many different types of sounds. There are some that have been passed on for generation in every tradition. So it doesn't matter which tradition or religion, doesn't matter. You just choose some mantra that is comfortable for you. For me, for example, the Om Namah Shivaya is comfortable. Some people would like Om Shanti, which means Om peace, Om peace. Another would use Hari Om or Shri Ram, or this too shall pass, thy will be done, Om Mani Padme Hum. There's so many. Something that resonates in your heart and works for you. So you take that, and I'm going to show you how to use it. You can use yours, Rebecca. Rebecca just bought that. So you take the Meru, and then you take the fourth finger like this. Can you all see that? Take your thumb and the third finger, right? Can you see that? And then you repeat. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. And the mind will go, yeah, but really, you know, this was this problem, and da 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 da. You remember, oh my God, I stopped. Back to Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Mind will go again, okay? And before you know it, you've just gone here and you've had over 1,000 thoughts. And then you really start to understand your mind. Because you're watching it, right? By using an instrument, a physical instrument, to help you. So, okay, so then I know, I've done, you know, okay, I'm really angry at this person. I'm really angry at this person. I accept. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. But this anger is making me sick. It's making me so unhappy. It's making me so unhappy. What do I need to do? I need to let it go. But I can't. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. So what happens? Over days, maybe months, some people very quickly. Every time the angry thought comes, the Om Namah Shivaya comes. So guess what happens? That emotion doesn't have such control on you anymore. It doesn't control you. What's starting to take over? The mantra. And the mantra is neutral, charged with energy. Why is it charged with energy? Because people have been chanting it since thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So those vibrations are coming to you. It's like the rosary. People have been chanting it for thousands of years. And the Buddhists. So that energy takes over that emotional mind. So another practice that is brilliant is breathing. Simply breathe. Let's do it together. Sit up. Spine erect. Close your eyes. Have your palms facing upwards. Now take a slow, deep breath through your nostrils. And exhale very slowly. Inhale, feel the prana, the energy, entering every single cell in your body. Allow the peace to awaken in your heart. Keep breathing in and out. Feel the shoulders drop, the hips, your knees, your feet, all relax. Now be aware as you're breathing in and out of what's going through the mind, but keep breathing. very gently, start to open your eyes and just look ahead. And now smile. Not so bad life. Bring it back to, this is a journey. Let me connect with that peace inside. I think the best thing my guru taught me is really make peace your God. And to this day, whenever things go wrong, it's the first thing that comes up in my mind. I brainwashed myself so much that the first thing that comes when a shock comes or I get news that I did not expect, take a deep breath, make peace your God. You can help no one, Nalanie, if you are not peaceful. We are no good if we are not peaceful, not any of us. We are not useful. And once you start to get peaceful, you already become useful. You don't even have to ask, what do I need to do to become useful? Because when you're peaceful, you already feel you're useful. Everything you do becomes useful. From grooming to making a meal, it's all useful. Because you see things in a very different way when you're peaceful. And and then it comes that nothing is a chore anymore. And it becomes a delight. And the mind will go and say, why do I have to cook for you? I'm cooking for the divine. Because you're in touch with that divinity. So the emotion, why should I cook for you, which I used to do before, many years ago before this practice, why should I cook for my husband? Why should I always have to do all the work? Became, I am cooking for the divine. The same divinity that is in me is in him. And it worked in his case, because when I did that, then he wanted to look after me more. While I was arguing and telling him, I don't want to do this, he was resisting me more. And this is what life has taught me. When we resist, it carries on. These emotions go on forever. Just let go. And this is the non-attachment. Even to their reaction. I was very lucky that the work, he reacted well. If he hadn't reacted well, he would have left me or I would have left him, because it would have no longer worked. Nobody wants to live in a war zone. Life is too short to live in a war zone. So if you have to be with someone and you're not ready to leave them, make sure you make it a heaven. Don't expect them to, because they certainly won't. But expect yourself to make your world a heaven for you. And that's how you have to decide. And when they disturb your peace, know what to do. One thing great about being spiritual, no discussion. You don't debate. Somebody doesn't agree with you, you know what? That's the way you think? Fine. I remember when I was first into yoga, I was asked to go on TV quite a lot on debates, and I enjoyed it. And after a while, when they used to ask me, I said, I'm sorry, I was growing up. I don't debate, please ask somebody else. I accept people think differently from me, God bless them. I don't want to, I'll be very boring in a debate because I'll agree with everyone, because that's what they, that's what they believe. I'm not here to change somebody else's belief. None of us are. They have to change themselves. They have to learn themselves. And this is the problem with emotions. We keep grabbing on to somebody else's emotions and making them ours, and they're not ours. So when we come down to ourselves, when we have the awareness and see where all this is coming from, we will really see, as the yogis tell us, it comes from a selfish place. Do we mean to be selfish? Absolutely not. But in the end, we want the result. And sometimes the result cannot be what we want, because it is life. And sometimes there are no answers for why things happen. And us having to understand. And this is why they say when you start to become aware, you go through what we call tapas, a burning within you, a burning, because when you learn, oh my God, all this is like an illusion, everything I believed in crumbles down, the people I loved the most and trusted the most have betrayed me, what is life all about? And it all comes crumbling down around you. That is when you go, ha ha ha, this is just a play, I know better. I'm not this body, I'm not this mind, immortal self I am. I know life is short. I have to make a decision. Am I going to fall victim to my why me? Or am I going to go out there and charge the world with love and tell them, you know what, you have to accept. They're evil people, they're good people. What can you do? It is the way it is. And Sri Patanjali tells us so clearly, what do you do with those who are wicked? Don't give them any energy. Disregard. Neither good, neither bad. Step away. And then when you are really, really, really strong and they don't affect you at all, you can even be in their company and listen to, like the donkey, saying all they want to say and just in one ear, out one ear. Because you know, it's not their fault. It's the way they think. It's the way they think. So either you go away from them or you love them unconditionally. This is the non-attachment. And that's the higher teaching. Not easy to do. Takes many years to practice that. So don't go into the lion's den unless you are a lion tamer. Got it? So don't go into negative energy unless you can be in it without it affecting you. And that's how you grow, because after a while you become so detached that you go, nonsense. Or you laugh, there they go again with that nonsense, and you just laugh. And there I am falling again. And you start laughing instead of taking it personally. And that's when you feel strong, and that's when you feel self-respect, and that's when you feel the joy and the connection with the divine. You feel connected because what is God but love? The Lord of love, no larger than a thumb, lives in the heart of all. And it is described as nada and bindu. Sound, that's why we do the mantra, and light. The light is within you. Deep in the hearts of all is the light of all lights. So the light. So we are light beings. We are light beings. And when we take on the negative mental attributes, we become dark. So you have to fight for yourself. This is what yoga is all about. And you feel you can't do it when you're caught up in all these emotions. But remember, you are not alone. There is this light and sound with you all the time. There is so much of it and so little in this body, so we can connect with the power station, which is the consciousness in which all the yogis call exist, truth, knowledge, bliss, absolute. That's why when you live in truth, when you live in knowledge, and this is why knowledge is important. Truth, knowledge, you will feel the bliss. You will say, okay, you know, this is all a movie, and okay, this person has this problem. I can't help you. Sorry, darling, bye-bye. I want to do everything for you, but you don't want me to. You don't want me to. I have to accept, right? I have to accept. And normally when you accept, there is a peace that comes in your heart. Pain with peace. And this is what we have to learn to do, because life is, whether we like it or not, it will bring us these pains. But as you grow in your strength, when you start becoming more and more aware of your inner power, when you're connected, and that connection is peace and love, when you really start to feel that more, you don't look at things as pain. What you would find as pain is when you see somebody you love suffer, because their suffering will become part of you. You can feel that. You can feel that. And so sometimes when you can't work with people that you love on a personal level because they can't accept it, there is another practice you do that is very effective. And you do it without being in their company. What you do is, again, you sit down and you breathe. Okay? Let's do that together. Let's all of us do it together. This is what you do. Breathe in again. Remember always, the breath helps us to connect. Because the consciousness from outside, the space that is charged with truth, knowledge, bliss, Paramahansa Yogananda call it life trance. They are everywhere if we are willing to receive them. They're just waiting to serve us. So feel these life trance of energy, of sound and light enter your entire being. Be aware of the tingling on the back of your neck, the warmth in the crown of your head. Allow that energy into your body, into your cells. And see yourself as you are dressed today. See yourself smiling, joyful, peaceful. See it. See a smile on your lips. And now call the person who has caused you so much pain into this circle of light. Invite them in. And cover them with this light. And say to them, you have really hurt me. But I am willing now to let you go in peace. May you find your peace and joy. And if I have hurt you, please forgive me. And now hear them say, you too have hurt me a lot. And I am willing to let go of that. Forgive me if I have caused you much pain. And see both of you covered in light, or the situation. Watch yourself smile and walk away, and watch that person smile and find their peace, and wish them well. Just wish them well. Bless them as you bless yourself. And allow the feeling of freedom to enter your heart. Thy will be done, not my will. Thy will be done. All will be done as it should be. And now open your eyes. Acceptance is not easy. And this is why Sri Patanjali calls it Kriya Yoga, cleansing. And it's one of the hardest things to do. Acceptance for purification. What does that mean? Accept these things because it makes you pure in the end. It makes you stronger in the end. It makes you happier in the end. And as the Gita says, what is poison in the beginning can be nectar in the end. So sometimes these practices can be so hard to love and to forgive, and I don't really want to do this, Just keep persisting. And the only way you can get there is filling yourself with love and knowing that the divine is love. And this is a theater, and there will always be good and bad. Just look at history. Just look back at the thousands of years we've been on this earth. Has it ever stopped? Every generation has hoped that it'd get better. But I do believe our generation is the best. I really do believe that. I think of course, now we're going through crazy times, but that's because we took things for granted. We took our joy for granted. We took our freedom for granted. We didn't appreciate things. We grew to complain about everything. We didn't respect Mother Nature. We used her as a tool to feed our greedy and lustful lives. We chose those things because everything was so easy. Everything's been so easy, and all we did was complain about stupid things. And now this has come to wake us up. And every generation faces this problem. But this generation has a lot of light and knowledge. The spiritual knowledge that is coming back. After the Industrial Revolution in the 1700s, everything became more and more material, till we got to where we are now. And now we are fighting back. There are many light workers. All of you in this room I call light workers, because what are you doing? You want to be better, to make a better world. Otherwise you wouldn't be sitting here. One peaceful person can affect 100 people. Why? Because when you're peaceful, your energy expands. It expands beyond the body. This is why when you're happy and you're peaceful, what do? You do this. You do this, right? And when you're unhappy, what do? This. When you're not happy, we just become small and dark in our emotions. So it's really important to expand. And this is why I love to tell people when they're depressed, to put their arms out and say, I love my life. Will you do that with me? All of you on Zoom too, please. I love my life. I am so grateful for my life.
I am so grateful for my life.
I'm so grateful for all my problems because I have courage to overcome them. I am so grateful for all my problems because I have the courage to overcome them. You have, and this is what we build up. This is why in the spiritual path, all the masters have told us, you got to be strong and have a lot of courage. Without that courage, it is almost impossible to find the divine in you. It is. So don't give up on yourself. And when you doubt a lot, be around people who don't doubt. Because this is the biggest downfall of the spiritual practitioner, the doubts. But if, why? No. It is as it is, move forward. Move forward. I have the tools. I know what to use. I have my this. I have this. I have my breathing. Don't have to carry anything with you. Isn't it great? Everything you need is in this body, this mind. That's why you've been given the mind. So you can choose to change things. And when things are so bad, take a walk. Go for a swim. Water for me is very healing. It's really bad. Admit it's really bad. Don't pretend it's not bad. Oh, I'm spiritual. I shouldn't feel bad. You're human. Thank God you're human. If you didn't feel bad, then you wouldn't know how to understand other people who feel bad. How could you have compassion for an unhappy person if you've never been unhappy? Well, I know why I went through all these painful experiences, so I can understand you and I can understand you, and we can become one, because ultimately emotions are emotions. And all of us, there's not one single person I know in this world that does not want to be peaceful and that does not want to be happy.